And then this is your gas locker, and to open it, same key, West alloy, turn, and then in here you can fit 2 6-kilogram gas bottles. And to tighten the pigtail onto the bottle, simply left hand thread and turn on at the top of the bottle. Always tie them in when you're travelling, and always turn it off when you're travelling as well, just in case you are involved in a collision. If it's turned off, it's far safer. You've got your diesel fill up point there, which opens with the main ignition key. And then going into the passenger side door, tyre pressures, 5 bar on the front, 5.5 bar on the back, which is 72.3 psi on the front and 79.5 on the rear. Underneath the passenger seat is your toolkit, which has got a jack and a brace and a torn eye and a screwdriver in. Your engine battery lives underneath the floor, so should you ever need to change the engine battery in the future, you'd have to lift this cover off to gain access to the battery. And your bonnet release is here, which lifts the bonnet. And there's a second catch just here. And then in here you do have your weight. So the weight of this vehicle is 3.3 tonne. Your mass and running order is 2.8, so you've got a 500 kilogram payload. SG number is your unique build number. And then you've got your various liquids, so you've got your coolant, brake fluid, power steering fluid, screen wash, oil filler, oil dipstick for checking your levels, earth for your jump start lead, so your black lead would go on there. And if you lift this cover, your red jump start lead, which is your positive, would go on there for giving or receiving a jump start. So this is a wheel submersible pump, which you connect into your filler point, like so. There's contacts in there, so it gives it a 12-volt feed, and then you drop this end, which is the submersible pump, into the bucket or aqua roll, and it'll suck the water up and fill it into there. You can get the other ones where it's from a quad lock like this to a hose pipe connection, so we have got you one of them on order. And then moving further along, you've got an external TV point, so should you be on a super site, you can hook up here and use their aerial instead of using yours on the motorhome. The Truma cover must come off when heating the water on gas, so to do so, if you just put some pressure on the top, put your finger in the middle, and then you can peel it off. Good place to put this is in the driver door pocket or passenger door pocket, and then when you're ready to hit the road again, put that on. You don't need to put that on when heating the van, or heating the water should I say, on electric, only when on heating the water on gas. Coming back to where the hookup point is, this is where your freshwater drain is. So this is one of 3 drain offs. You've got the fresh, the waste and the boiler. So you just drive over a grid and turn, and this is just fresh water draining off there. So in the winter, or when you take on contaminated water or you're not using the vehicle, you can drain it off to stop any stagnant water. But especially in the winter, you want to leave the van water free to stop any damage from the frost. And in this hatch you've got your cassette. So like I was saying, so to flush the van, it isn't taken from the main freshwater tank like on the newer vehicles. This has got a separate reservoir, and you simply fill up here. So you open it up and you'd fill up with water or pink solution, and you can see there the level of your flush. So it's quite low at the moment, so it will need topping up. And then to empty your cassette, you bring it out, so there's a little green lever, press, hold to bring out. You've got some wheels, so you can drag it along the site and take it to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside your toilet block. And to empty, you take your green cover off and you press this button. So when you're tipping it out, press this button. It allows a consistent flow and allows air in and makes it flow out nicely. Once you've emptied it, put some water in, give it a swash around, and then if you're using the liquid, the cap can be the measuring stick, so you can put a cap full of liquid and then push it back into the van. Or if you're using the tablet form, put a pint of water back in, push it back in the van and drop a sachet of chemical straight down the toilet. Make sure it clicks like so, and that is locked into position. Coming round the vehicle, so the back, you do have your high level brake light and your bike rack. So you'd pull this down and you'd use the arms to clip on to your crossbars and your wheels through here and tighten. You've got two fridge vents, and then moving down the passenger side of the vehicle, another drain point. This is your wastewater. And this drains all your soapy water or water you've put down a plug hole. So anything you've put down a plug hole, this will drain off. And what you do is you simply drive over a grid on the way out of the motorhome or the campsite and deposit your waste. You've got your Habitation door, so this locks manually, your awning light, your side marker and your gas locker. So as well with your gas locker, so a quick walk around of the vehicle. So this is the driver's side, so behind the driver's door, if you use the square key that's marked West Alloy, you can open here up. This is your battery locker. So it has your battery in, which is a 105 amp leisure battery, and you've also got your main hookup points. So if you get your hookup lead, so your 25 meter hookup lead, lift the collar up and slide it on there, and then put the wire into the groove. You can then lock this box with the key when the vehicle is hooked up. Walking further along, this is your freshwater intake. So you would use your wheel pump that you've got on board the van. It fits in there, so it's got a block fitting which fits in there, which I'll show you in a second, and then you can put it into an aqua roll or a bucket and fill by it sucking the water up into the main tank. Or you can get the other option, if you can get the one with the hose pipe where you can connect to the main tap and it can fill that way as well. So once you get in the van, you do have a 12 volt kill switch here, so you must make sure that's on to get main power around the van. It's simply to stop any drain, so when you park it up in the winter or you stop using it for a couple of weeks, you can stop the leisure battery from draining itself. Next to it you have the electric step, which will automatically retract with the engine. And then above you do have this switch here, which is your awning light, which is here on the outside of the van. So above the travelling seats is your main control panel. So you've got the pump on here, which you have to have on to use the taps, the toilet and the shower. You've got your battery level in volts at the top, so the leisure battery is currently at 14 volts. If you press this little rocker switch with water, it'll tell you we've got a full tank of fresh water on board. And then you've got aux and vehicle battery. So you always want the motorhome running off the auxiliary battery, which is the leisure battery, and never the vehicle battery, as this will run the motorhome off the engine battery and that it'll flatten it and then you'll be going nowhere. So always run it off the auxiliary battery. Above you've got this switch here, which is to heat your water on electric. You must turn it on like so. And then you've got the switch above, which is to heat the van on mains 240 electric. Next to it is the switch that you use to use the main 240 volt electric. So this is your Truma Ultra Heat on 230 volt. So it's off in the middle. If you were to turn it up, you've got to have that switch on as well. To 2000 is 2 kilowatts. Heating the water at 2 kilowatts. So you can use that on any main camping caravan site in the UK. Then you've got 500 watt, which is half a kilowatt, and 1000 watt, which is 1 kilowatt. You may have to use these if you go abroad, because some sites can be lenient with their electricity power. Underneath you've got your ultra store, which is heating your water on gas. So the cover must come on off the outside of the vehicle, and you simply turn it down to the gas flame, and you've got 70 to 30, and this is the degrees of your hot water. So in the kitchen you do have 3 gas burner hob, which are all lit there. So you'd use the dials here and use the spark igniter on the front of the oven there, and then below you do have your grill. So when travelling, take the grill pan out, as this can be a bit noisy when it's on the road. Allow the thermocouple to get warm before you release the and then below that you do have your oven, and then you do have your oven as well, which lights like so. And take the oven shelf out when travelling, or wrap it up with a tea towel to stop the vibrations when on the road. And then underneath you've got your gas taps, so your red taps here. So any problems with gas, I'd always say isolate at the top of the bottle just to be safe. These are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced. And your Dometic fridge, so you've got 3 sources. You've got off, you've got mains 230 electric when hooked up, you've got battery which runs off the engine battery when the engine's running, and then you do have gas. So the idea with the battery is you would if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, or you've got a storage yard with hookup, hook the van up the day before you go away, put the fridge on, allow it to get nice and cool, put your shopping in, allow that to cool and chill as well, and then when you do start to drive off, put out the battery, and this will just keep the temperature that the fridge was at when departing. It won't go any cooler, it won't freeze anything, but it shouldn't get any warmer. It should keep the temperature the same. And then if you weren't going to a site and you were going wild camping, go down to the gas flame. This is your temperature, but also you've got to push this in and push the spark igniter in together. So ignite, and you'll see the orange band there heading towards the green. Once it's in the green, you can let go of the temperature dial, and this is lit on gas. And then also you do have a travel catch to stop the fridge door opening when travelling. And then once you have finished using the van for a length of time, take all your shopping out, clean it out with some anti-bac, and then the last thing you want to do is shut the door, as you're going to trap all the air inside the fridge and it will become smelly air. So just leave the door open, ajar, to allow air ventilation in and out the fridge. And there's your water there, lovely and warm. So you use your Fetfed bench style toilet. Make sure the pump is on the main control panel. Press the button and it will fill with liquid. So this will fill from your separate whole reservoir, as this takes from, it doesn't take from the main fresh water, it takes from the separate reservoir above the cassette, which is your pink solution. And then to deposit into the cassette, use the slide this forward and it will open the trapdoor. This must be shut to get the cassette out of the exterior of the vehicle, or you'll not get it out. Always use it with the blade open when you're using the toilet, and then flush and then shut the cassette. Above it will indicate red once it needs emptying. Above you do have your fold down sink with tap. So again, that's nice and warm. And you've got your toiletry cabinet with some sink plugs in. On the window, so the window's open like so, and then tighten out with the black knob. And then you do have a fly screen to keep the unwanted guests out when it's open, and a blackout blind for on any evening. Your shower screen can come round to stop the toilet from getting wet. And then also, when winterising the vehicle, if you unscrew the shower head and allow the hose to lie in the shower tray, this will stop any water from staying in the U-bend and freezing with the cold climate. So if you lift the cover off here in your wardrobe, this is your Truma boiler. It holds 10 litres of water at any one time. In the winter, it's crucial that you drain this, the boiler down, the fresh water and the wastewater, and to drain it off, you've got a little yellow toggle here. So when it's down in this position it is in now, it's holding water. You need to stand it up like so, and the water will simply drain out underneath the chassis. Allow this to stand up when you're not using the vehicle, especially in the colder climates, but I would get into a habit of draining it down each time you stop using it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And then no water will be stored in the 10 litres of water in the boiler, so none of that 10 litres will be stored. As if it was to be stored and left in and freeze, it will break the boiler, and it's very expensive to repair or replace and isn't covered under warranty, as it's your responsibility to drain the vehicle down. So you'd simply lift it up into this position now, and then when you do come to reuse it, lie it down, fill it up with water, go to the cold side of the tap first. You'll automatically get cold water through. Go to the hot side, cough, splutter, and make all sorts of noises until you get a steady flow on one tap. And what that's doing is it's bringing the water from the fresh water tank into the boiler, filling the 10 litres. And once you get a steady flow on the hot on the kitchen tap, go to the shower and go to the sink, and then it is ready to use. It's primed for the season. But when winterizing, if you leave, once you've lifted the tap up, so the yellow toggle into the up position, if you just leave all your taps in the open position in the mixer to stop any air from causing any airlocks. And then in front of the wardrobe you do have your Truma fire. So this is how to heat the van on gas if you are wild camping, or if it was really cold you can put gas and electric on together. So simply turn down and use the igniter to spark it, and then when you let go you'll hear it roar, and in that hole there you can see the gas flame. So you can choose your temperature on gas, and then opposite the gas, you do have your Truma fan. So this is the fan assisted to blow around the various parts of the van. So you've got 1 to 5, which is your fan speed. You've got off in the middle, which will convect out the front of the fire. So this is great if you're wild camping. It saves the use of using a 12-volt fan and wasting your 12-volt battery. You've got A, automatic. It will go to the temperature you've selected on the gas or the electric, and once the van hits that temperature, the thermostat will pick up that it's hit 30 degrees or 25 degrees or whatever you've got it set to, and it will turn off until the van gets cooler to about 23, 22 degrees if you've got it set on 30 or 25, and then it will kick back in to warm the vehicle back up. If not, you can put on the line, which is manual mode, and this will just continuously give the heat to the van, and you will have to manually turn it off. So to make the dinette into the bed, if you just pull the latch out here, like so, just onto the end there, and then you use this and the backrest into here. You've made your double bed, and you can also, and then this is also your single. So this doesn't pull out to make the bed any bigger. This is just a single, but these can lift up. And you can use the backrest of the single onto here as well. So you remove that and then push them back that way. And push that on there. And therefore you have a double bed. So to get these down once they're up, there is 2 catches. So if you just press here, so push up and press both in together, they will then slide down. So you need to do that on both, slide them down. And also underneath the rear facing bench seat is your RCD. So if you trip the vehicle out with a kettle or a hairdryer, try here before you try your sight. And you do have all your 12-volt fuses, which are all listed there. So it might be a good idea to go and buy some spares just in case one does blow a fuse. you can check and replenish the fuse to see if it's a problem that needs looking at or whether the fuse is just blown. The table also lives in your wardrobe and clips onto the dinette bar here, and then you can push them on and lock it when travelling. But it's up to you whether you want the table up, and then you've got the fold away leg, which you just fold here and fold the leg down. That just clips on to the dining area should you need it, or if not, you can easily store it away here and use the turnbuckle to keep it in when travelling. And above the cab you do have your luton bed, so you've got your ladder there which clips on here, and then should you store things up there, or should you want the extra height to get out the cab into the motorhome, you can push this up, and it is on gas struts there. There's a light with a switch on the side and a window, and obviously you have got your curtains. To black the cab out, you do have your curtains, and then in the cab you've got your handbrake to your right, your electric windows, electric mirror adjustment, which will do the top and the blind spot if you just choose your mirror, headlight adjustment, trip computer on the end of the wiper stalk, so this does your wipers, lights and indicators, scroll through your radio channels or CDs, or SRC, which will go from FM to AM to CD, volume, mute, 5-speed manual gearbox with up there for reverse, padlock to lock the cab doors and unlock it, hazard lights, fog lights and heated mirrors, temperature here with your fan speed on the bottom, distribution and circulation, either bringing air, fresh air in or recirculating air. And then you've got your radio, so you can turn that on, and then you can scan for your radio channel and press 1 to 6 to save your favourite radio station, or you can put a CD in there and press CD. This is also lockable with the key, so if you've got any valuable items you want to leave in the van, sat navs, iPads, anything, you can lock them in there when you're out for the day. And then you've got a glove box, obviously your toolkit's underneath your passenger seat, and you've got storage under your drivers.